Hello, Jessica Yourworks here, back for another review. And today I'm reviewing set number 76020. It's called the Knowhere Escape Mission. It has 433 pieces, 3 minifigures, and it retails for $40 in the United States. This is part of the LEGO Marvel Superheroes Guardians of the Galaxy sets, and you can probably find this in a lot of stores because it was released June 1st, 2014 in most retail stores, at least in the United States. Now let's take a look at the packaging. Alright, so here's a box for the set. Really kind of cool box for the back printing with the woods down there. Really do like that. It has a nice corner art. No side art, unfortunately, which the only way you can find side art for the Guardians of the Galaxy sets on the boxes is on the biggest set, the Milano Spaceship Rescue. On the back, you can see all the little play features. Really kind of cool. And the set does come with 2 instruction booklets and a comic. The comic is the same one that's found in all other sets, so nothing special with that. And instruction booklets, there's one right here, which is kind of thick. No special, advertisements or anything like that, besides this one on the back. And the second instruction booklet is also kind of long too. It was actually a decently long build, and the back has Lloyd Garmadon. So now let's take a look at the minifigures. Alright, so here is the first minifigure, and it's definitely the best minifigure of this set. And the reason why a lot of people are going to be getting this set, it is Rocket Raccoon. Now first, let's take a look at his gun, which is brick built. It's a very, very detailed gun, and I like this little piece right here that they use. It's kind of a gun frame, but all it is this piece right here. I've never really seen this being used before, and I like how they used it in this one, because what they did was they put this on the side, this right here, and they put this and this, and they made it kind of a really elaborate gun, and I think that's really well done. It looks really huge for Rocket, but I guess Rocket's really known for using heavy artillery. So that's really well done. And he also comes with the little orb right here, which comes in the other 2 sets, so it isn't exclusive to him. And then looking at the Rocket minifigure himself, his head mold right here is very interesting because it also has his shoulders. So if you want to take it off, which it's kind of hard to take off, there you go. You can see his whole head mold is really, really detailed because they have these shoulder pads right here, a little bit of his neck, and then his really kind of noticeable raccoon face. So that's really, really cool. And then there's the inside. And it just kind of fits on the neck like that. All you have to do is put it down, and there you go. His torso is exclusive to the set. Really cool orange right there. And he has orange legs, which only come in 3 Ninjago 2012 sets, so they don't really come in any other sets in that short leg mold. And if you want to see his back printing, it's right here. And it's actually pretty cool too. And he has this little tail mold right here, which is a lot like Scratchy's mold from the LEGO Minifigures Simpsons series, but it has a different tail on the back, so that's really cool. It's kind of a rubber material. So mine came a little bit bent, but it got bent back into shape once I put it on the minifigure. So here's how you make the minifigure. You have that, the tail, which goes right there, the body, and then his head mold, and his big gun, and the orb. And here's Nebula. She's also exclusive to this set, just like Rocket Raccoon. She has a really nice purple torso right there, which I love the color purple, so I love that torso. It's kind of detailed. Also 2 katanas right here. Can I ever pronounce that right? Here's her back torso printing. And her head printing is actually really cool too. It's on this blue colored head mold. And not only is it on the front, but it's also on the back. So I think that's really kind of well done. And here is the Saqqara, same one that comes in the Star Blaster Showdown, which is also a set that I reviewed. And he also comes in the Milano ship, which I'm going to review next. He doesn't have any leg printing, which is really kind of disappointing. But he does have very detailed torso and facial printing, which does carry on to the back. And he has this nice back printing right here, which is really cool with the silver finish. And his hood mold is just a regular hood that we've been getting, which doesn't really match how he looks in the movie, but still it's acceptable because, you know, these are based on early concept art. And he does come with this little gun right here, which is new for the Guardians of the Galaxy theme. It's a really new mold. I do like it. So here's Groot, and he's a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's exclusive to the set, just like the other member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in this set, which is Raccoon. And he's played by Vin Diesel in the movie, or voiced by him, where he says only really one sentence. And he is a very, very cool brick-built minifigure here. He looks a little bit skeletal at first, but it's because he has lots of posability. He reminds me a lot of the Sentinel from the X-Men set that came out with this wave of Guardians of the Galaxy sets. And that's because he's really kind of posable, and he uses a lot of the mini ball joints, and he has kind of the same height. If you go to the bottom where his legs are at, you can see he has these little slopes right here in brown with some nice printing. That's not even a sticker, which are kind of these little roots going through, it looks like some wood. So that's a really nice print, and you get two identical printings for both sides of the legs, so you get two of them in the set on that little brown slope piece. And that kind of represents his legs all the way up to his knee, which his knees are represented by these little ball joints, so you can move him around a little bit more articulated. And those go up to these little parts right here, which go all the way to his body. In his body, you can see there's these two little ball joints that connect this part. And then when you look at the body, it's a whole new exclusive mold. It's a little bit thin right here, so it kind of goes over this whole brick-built part in the middle. And you can kind of take it off. It's a little bit of a challenge to take off this part, and it's really kind of a challenge, which I cannot take off the little part inside here, but you can kind of see a little bit of what is that new mold exclusive to Groot. We'll just put them back together, which is very easy to put back together. And as I pointed out, there's some really nice printing on the body mold, which is really cool. There's some roots, and it looks like some little detail for some carving in the wood, or some just little wood detail to make it look like he's made out of wood, because he's supposed to represent kind of like a tree-like creature. Going on the side, you can see these mini ball joints right here. There's one on this side and then one on that side, but that's it for the mini ball joints on the minifigure, or miniature figure, because there's 6 all around in this whole little brick-built guy. And on the side, there's these green hinges, which in this color, this dark greenish color, are exclusive to the set for recent sets. So that's really nice to get an exclusive colored piece. And he does have these little fingers right here, which have these really kind of rare little spiky pieces in this brownish color or tannish color, which those only come in one other set, which are the Rancor Pit. And you get 8 of them in this set, which is really cool. And you can move his arms all around, because they are on that mini ball joint. Then he has these little hinges right here, which you can move up and down. And they're on these little clips right here for his hands. And then he has the little fingers, which are clipped to the clip. And you can move those up and down and point them all the way you want. So very articulated figure. And going on to the top where his head's at, you can see the printing on his head is really well done. He has kind of this, I guess, whimsical face. And it looks a little bit intimidating, but it is very cool. And that goes all the way up to the molding on the top of his head, where he has this little middle, looks like a little bit of a middle, maybe a stud or something inside there. And these little spikes on the top are really, really well made. And you could just see on the back of his body, there's all these little veins throughout the wood. So that's really it for this Groot miniature figure, and now on to the build itself. So here's Rocket Raccoon's vehicle. It's like a pod, and it's actually really, really unique and really cool. I like how this was made. I mean, it's not really usual where you see a licensed vehicle that's not like a spaceship or a car. And I'm not saying when they are a spaceship or a car, that makes them automatically bad. But it's nice to see a change-up sometimes in vehicles. And this is that change-up. And you can see on the side right here, there's this nice little radar dish. And then this trans blue dish. On the back, there's all these stickers, but they're not too hard to put on or anything like that. There's a sticker on the top on this nice azure piece right here, which this slope piece in azure comes in 2 other sets, which are the Galactic Titan and Gorzon's Gorilla Mech from 2013. So those are 2 pretty expensive sets, and it's nice to get them in a $40 set. And on the back, they also have these little slope pieces in this blue color, which are really, really cool. And you put stickers on those too, which also have kind of the identical striped yellow and black design. And then there's this part right here, which is a little bit like a hatch. And the main play feature of that is you're supposed to put these little cylinder pieces or canister pieces in the middle right there. Close the hatch, and then you pull the hatch open, and the stuff falls out. So I guess it's a nice little dropship-like feature, because it does drop those little things. And on the back little hatch right here, there is a pretty cool sticker, which has some stripes, which are black, and then some blue and white stripes. Going on the top, there's this little covering right here, which is how the little cockpit window opens, which you just gotta pull it up like that. And that's connected to that little hinge right there. Then going to the cockpit front, there's this little part right here, which are these little, it looks like a claw, and basically they have these little fingers, I guess you could say, and those can hold stuff. So if you want to hold the Saqqara in, all you have to do is put them in the middle like that, and then lower the fingers, or whatever you want to call them. And those are just connected by the hinge, and there you go. He will probably fall out though, so it's not the strongest little play feature, but it does look really cool because it looks like these are a separate part of the vehicle. I guess that's kind of the look they were trying to get out of it, because they use this trans clear little rod piece in the middle right there. So that's nice, and if you want to open the hatch, all you have to do is raise it up like that. And once you get inside the vehicle, there's really nothing there, except there's this little seat, and all you have to do is put Rocket Raccoon in there, and he fits really, really well. Just put him in like that, close the hatch, and there you go. That's how he looks inside there. Really cool. And that's it for the vehicle. Just one last look all around. And on the bottom, and that's it. Alright, so here is the main build. Okay. So here's the main build of the set. It's this Knowhere, I guess, platform or something like that. And it has this kind of industrial design to it, very rugged design. And it uses some burgundy colors and some gray, light gray and dark gray colors. So we'll take a look at each individual segment because it is broken into a few segments while being built. There's this segment right here, and all these are connected by little Technic pins. So there's this segment right here, then there's a middle segment, and then there's this end segment, which is the biggest segment, and it's all connected by those pins in the middle. So first off, we'll take a look at this pit right here. There are 2 acid pits in the set. This is 1 of 2. And this one kind of doubles as a catapult. Now you can see they do have this little pit design using these round bricks right all around. And they use these yellow canister pieces, as I sometimes call them. And this little catapult piece. And what you have to do is put the canister piece in the middle right there. And the thing just goes launching. So we'll try that one more time. We'll try it this way. So it goes pretty far. So you can see it landed all the way back there. And inside the middle, there's no detail besides just a little part to hold those little canister pieces. And on the bottom, there's not really any detail. Of course, on the sides, they have all these little holders for the Technic pin. And that brings us to this middle part right here, which you just snap on like that. And there's nothing really going on here except there's these little coil pieces on the side in this metallic color. So that's really it for that part. And then of course, to bring it to the main part of the build, which is this big segment back here, you just snap it on like that. And it leads us to this part, and just for the sake of convenience, I'll take that part off. And basically, the bottom of it has this little acid pit right here, which is really a cool design. And this part fell off, and I'll get to why that's a little bit bad later. I'll just put it to the side for now. But to look at that, you have to kind of play with this play feature right here. And that play feature works by pushing this down. It makes that whole top part fall off. So that's really kind of a cool play feature. And you can see, just push it down, and it flaps up like that. And in the middle, there's just this little pit of acid, which has a really kind of cool design because it uses these little tile pieces and these little studs right here in this trans yellow color to make it look like there's some bubbling acid or whatnot. Who knows, this might not even be acid in the movie. It just looks like acid, and I think that looks pretty cool as a design in this brick-built set. And on the sides, there's all these little Technic pins, so you can kind of rearrange it any way you want. And this part right here just goes right on the edge right there. Nothing really cool there. It's all built on this little hexagon piece. Yeah, hexa is 6. And Then you just snap this part in the middle, right down like that, because they go on those little burgundy jumpers. And moving up right here, there's this little ladder which you can move up and down. This little pin on the side which you push in, and it makes this trapdoor kind of stay in place, which is another play feature. Now on the side, there's not really any detail here besides this antenna. That leads us all the way to the top. And the top segment is kind of interesting because there's really, it looks desolate, but that's, first off, that's because if you put a minifigure in the middle for the sake of kind of how it looks on the box, just put the Saqqara in, and you pull this lever back here, there's a trapdoor and he falls into the pit of acid, what I believe is acid. So that's kind of a cool design. And also, this part, which is this little catapult, or it's not really a catapult, but it's more of a blaster design, goes on the top like that. Now, you could stick it on if this pin's in the middle and stick it on to the trapdoor. I don't want to stick it on because it's really hard to take off. But it's just a very kind of basic launcher or blaster build, kind of like a turret. In the middle, there's this missile, which is a push missile. All you have to do is push it down like that and it flies off, and that's a new piece for 2014. And you can see the middle part where that missile is hold. There's also some stickers on the side right here, which has that Saqqara design. Then a little holder or something where you can make the Saqqara hold onto the turret. But since the Saqqara's down there, I'll just make Rocket Raccoon hold on. And it has this little handlebar piece. And he holds on like that. So that is actually really cool. And the only part I don't like about this, which I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, is it works best if it's not connected to the bottom part, which is that little trapdoor feature. But it's really easy to fall off since it is heavy on the top. So you just kind of move it around and it falls off. That's kind of lame. So you're going to have to probably stick it on to the top plate like this. And then like that, you can't really point it in any other directions because it's not really articulate in the middle. You could just move it up and down to an extent because this handlebar sometimes gets in the way. So I wish this would be more, I guess, have more rotation features so you can move it all around in different directions, but it's kind of lacking on that. So that's really it for this build, and now on to the final verdict. Overall, what do I think of this set? While the Knowhere Escape build itself, which is this little playset back here, is really kind of weak. I think the reason why it looks so weak is because it uses those kind of gray colors that we're so used to seeing, and it just doesn't look fun, you know? There's not really any interesting play features, besides, I guess, this little blowing up feature, which I guess is alright. Then there's a trapdoor feature and this little shooter right here. But I was hoping for a bigger playset and maybe a more unique playset, because this looks really, really standard and really kind of put together quickly. But getting past that, Rocket Raccoon's vehicle is actually really, really cool. I like how they made this because it's not like what you would see from traditional licensed vehicles, because we're so used to getting spaceships and you know, cars from traditional licensed themes, which aren't, you know, usually, I don't fault for it being a spaceship or a car. I'm just saying that's nice to see a change up in that style when you get a weird vehicle that's like not really what you'd see. It's like a pod mining vehicle. I don't even know what it is, but it's really, really cool. And then going to the minifigures, that's really the best part about the set because there's some really cool pieces that are exclusive to the set and the minifigures alone. Rocket Raccoon is probably one of my favorite minifigures of the year. I mean, I love this minifigure. I love his exclusive tail mold, which is a lot like Scratchy's tail mold from The Simpsons. I love his exclusive head mold, and Groot right here has an exclusive kind of body mold, and he's actually a really cool minifigure that I didn't think I would like at first because he was brick built, but playing around with him, he's really fun to play with, and he looks pretty cool. Sure, he doesn't match the colors of how he looks in the movie, but I can never blame a licensed set for not looking how it looks in the movie if the movie hasn't come out yet, because usually they're based on really early concept art, so you can't really fault it for that. And getting past those two minifigures, even though I guess Groot isn't really a Lego minifigure, but a miniature figure in general. Nebula right here, she's really cool because I love her purple torso and her really detailed face print. And the Saqqara, I mean, he does come in all the Guardians of the Galaxy sets, so he does come in the two other sets. And I still have the same problem I had with how he looked in the Star Blaster Showdown set, where he doesn't have any leg printing, and I think that doesn't really match the whole design of the figure, because the figure has some really detailed torso and facial printing, and just having no leg printing makes him look really inconsistent and really kind of superficial, I guess you could say. And I don't really want to insult the designers on that, but it's just kind of disappointing that he doesn't have any leg printing whatsoever. So that's really how I feel about this set. One last thing to note is that there's really some awesome pieces in here that are either exclusive or really hard to find. specifically some of these pieces in these blue colors, as I pointed up in the close-up. And of course, your exclusive molds are found on the minifigures. And even some little stuff like the spikes on Groot's hands are really hard to find. The printing on Groot's legs right here is exclusive to the set, and it's some very nice printing. Glad they didn't choose to use a sticker there. So I have to give this set a B+. If the build right here for the playset wasn't so mediocre, this would definitely be like a must-have set. But of course, the price for it is pretty good because it's 433 pieces for $40. You get some really awesome printing, some really awesome pieces. So it is a B+, like I said. So that's really it for this review, and I will see you guys later. Bye.